The last in the greetings, I want to invite Dr. Uri Stein, my first PhD student, and he was the head of the forecasting office when Daniel Marcus served there. Please.
I'd like to tell about Daniel and my time that I spent with him and the time that I learned to know him from my army service. When I received command over the meteorological unit, it was in the summer of '92, Corporal Daniel was positioned in an Air Force in the South as a meteorological observer. I didn't know him personally at that time. All I knew about him was that he was a lonely soldier from Britain, and he was a very handsome guy with fair hair, but that was all. Sometime after I received command, I was announced that he has finished his duty in that base. He's coming back to the headquarters to continue service. And as usual in that case, he scheduled an interview with me in order to find him an appropriate job or position in the unit. It was very interesting for me to do this interview because I really didn't know him, and he struck me as a very interesting guy. So I asked him many questions during the interview, and I was very much interested in everything in his background. And I really remember this interview. He told me about his life in Britain, about his family, about his studies in the college, about his decision to do the army service in Israel, about his rowing sporting activity, which was really interesting for me, as also a guy who's doing sports, and also about his back injury, which prevented him from doing a combat service. After learning everything I could about his background, I asked him what would he like to do in the headquarters? What is his wish? And his answer amazed me. I remember this till this day. Because he asked me, actually, the most difficult position he could ask. He asked to be in charge of the observers, which is, to explain everybody, is a sergeant that's responsible for the management of the observers' shifts, which means he's the senior and the most complex duty that observer can have in our unit. This requires management and especially very good human relations with mature judgment. I was surprised and that he asked this responsibility, and at the beginning I didn't answer him. I wondered if this boy can really have the maturity and experience for this job, but I got a feeling that he's very determined. So I decided to give him a chance. But I didn't have high expectations from the beginning. Watching him, I slowly but surely surprised to know how quickly he adapted himself to the job, created excellent human relations with other soldiers, and they accepted his authority without problems, to my surprise. I watched him perform in duty and his behavior, and I found that I really liked the boy. He had really Israeli chutzpah, although he was not a tzabar. He was never afraid from senior officers. He was always open and friendly, always surrounded by girls who were attracted to him. He had simplicity and wisdom, which conquered all our hearts. He had great sense of humor, and very quickly he became surrounded by admirers. I realized that this boy is special and learned to trust him in everything. In the winter, I had to take a 3-month leave from the unit because I had to complete a commanding course, and Major Daniel Amichai took over the unit for a 3-month period. And one evening during the time that I was in that course, I received a phone call from Major Amichai, where I heard about the horrible accident that happened. And it's already 17 years past since that awful day, and I often remember the fair-headed and handsome Sergeant Daniel Marcus, which was the only soldier I lost in my service. And Yehi Zechor Baruch.
Thank you.